Hello, my name is Mark Anthony Dubose Jr., and I was born July 4th, 1986. Right up front, I just want to read something. There lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 5,000 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys. He had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among his people of the East. That's chapter 1, verse 1, Book of Job. Book of Job is a very interesting book because it could take you in many, many directions. Today, the direction I want to talk about is the direction that I see this happen a lot, and it happens too frequently that it's just so sad to me. It's so sad in a way that when everything is going good in your life, when everything is right, when it seems like you got all the blessings, everything is just working for you, everything is moving smooth, and everything that you could ever desire starts to come to you. There's going to also be some other people that are going to start to come to you. Some other people that are going to be around you that want to be able to be a part of that blessing, that want to be able to use and utilize everything that it is that you have, and they just want to be a part of, not really partaking in. They just want to take what it is that they see that you have. It's very interesting because in this book, it's savage because it comes down to the conversation that God has with Satan. Do what you want, my man. My man is good. He's going to always keep blessing me. He's always going to turn to me. He's not going to curse me. He's not going to quit on me. He's not going to give up on me. And it's very interesting because Satan was like, well, I can't touch him because God, you have in reality made his life easy. You make everything he does work. You make everything that he pursues work. You make everything that he's got going on just always flourish. Everything in his life is just smooth sailing and he just doesn't fumble and doesn't fail and everything is good to go. And the reason that he has that is because God has placed that and put that and not allowed any of the evil, any of the wicked, any of the bad stuff to be able to come to him. And then God's like, well, I see what you're saying. So let me take some of that away and allow you to be able to do what you do to him and see if all this that I've given him with giving him the blessings is he's only going to praise me because he has been blessed. Or is he going to quit on me because now he's being cursed in reality? And all his people were always there with him. They were having fun. They were having feasts. His sons used to hold feasts in their homes on their birthdays, and they would invite the 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. For a period of feasting that run its course, Job would make arrangements for them to be purified. Early in the morning, he would sacrifice burnt offerings for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. So he was always praising and always appreciating and always thinking very, very highly of his kids and doing everything for them. And just in case they messed up, he's like, well, let me pray for them, let me sacrifice for them, just in case I'm the one, if they did something, I want to be able to help, figure out how to help them, be able to redeem them. And he was always has all the people gather, all the people come around, throwing parties and having feasts. Then a day comes that he loses it all. He loses all his animals. He loses his kids even. He loses everything. He loses all his servants. He loses it all. And in reality, when he lost all of his, say, material possessions, he also lost everyone else. All of his friends started to just talk down to him. All of his acquaintances just never wanted to show up anymore. No one wanted to help him, do anything for him. They just thought of him as being a cursed, damaged guy because he lost all of his stuff. It's very interesting because that's something that I know goes on out here with what we do as human beings. That this story is, I don't know if I said it before, but I'll say it again, that the book of Job is written differently than the rest of the Bible. It's written so differently, such a different way that it is. It's a dialogue. It's some people talking. It's his so-called buddies coming to him, talking to him, trying to give him some insight, and then he rebuttals that, and they just keep going back and forth. And then later on, God starts to be able to talk to him, and it's still kind of a back and forth rebuttal thing going on. It's a very interesting book that's nothing like any other one in the entire Bible. So it's something that when I read it, it's not a way of a history like this in reality is even real. It's like a parable that was written, like how Jesus would speak and Jesus would do. It's not a reality. It's something that's just to teach us something about what it is that we should expect and what it is that we should do and what it is that we should try to stay away from. Because it's very interesting that this guy, when he had it all, everyone was around. Everyone would praise him. Everyone would think so high and mighty of him. But then when he lost it all, people just started to, in reality, disrespect him and just never show up anymore and just always have excuses on why I can't be there and why I don't want to be around. Because when you realize that you're not going to be able to go to those parties where everything is free and everything is awesome and you're going to be able to have all this fun and drinking all this wine and in reality, everything's free. Everything's taken care of. You can come by and just eat all you want, drink all you want, dance all you want, party all you want. When he no longer has all the stuff, the wealth, the resources to do that, all those people just disappeared. And it makes you think like, who's real? And how do you find out who's real in your life? The real people that are going to be there for you. The real people that are just going to constantly, no matter what happens to you, say to you like, I understand what's going on here. I see your struggle, and let me help you through your struggle to get you out of your struggle, because I don't want you to be in your struggle anymore. And realizing that it's not even say that person that they've done something wrong on why bad things have come to them. It's just bad stuff happens. That's a lesson that I really come to see about this book, that stuff happens and it's outside of our control. It's outside of what we think that we should be able to accomplish, be able to do, be able to have. It's just out of our control. When it's out of our control, we can't curse God and say, why did this and why did that? Because you don't curse God when he does great things for you. You know, when you got that job, that promotion, that house, that car, when you got that spouse, those kids, that anything else that you were looking for, that vacation, that paid time off, when you got all that you was asking for, you don't curse him then, but you curse him when you didn't get it. You curse him and you run away from him and you leave him behind when things just don't seem to be going good. And that's the time that in reality, you got to stick and stay even firmer. You got to be even stronger. Because even his wife, in reality, just gave up on him. She's like, I don't even want to see you. I don't want to be around you. Why don't you just curse that God of yours and just die? That's what she said to him. And he's just sitting there all alone. And then he's got his so-called friends that come around that start to just basically say to him, you must be evil. You must be wrong. You must not have been the good guy that we all thought you were. You must be a very crooked, very disturbing, very chaos, very just nasty guy. That's why you lost all your stuff. And they're saying to him over and over, just, it's your fault. You did it. It's your issues. And he's still saying, no, if the blessings came to me, I gotta also praise God for the curses that come to me. I gotta praise him for both. I can't just look at one and not the other, and just look at one and think that the other is from something that I have done even. And that's something that I think is a very interesting situation that goes on here, with something that I believe that I was even thinking my own self, that I think a lot of us kind of run into this situation of thinking, where you're seeing things that aren't the greatest, things that are challenging, things that are struggling, things that aren't following through, things that are failing on you. Things aren't following through. And then you kind of start to think to yourself like, it must be because I'm not doing something right. It must be because I'm not being the most righteous person I can. It must be because I'm just an absolute worthless quitter, failure. I'm going against God and everything he's looking for and all his commands, that I'm just being mean and not doing what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And that's why this bad stuff is coming to me. And as bad stuff keeps coming to me because I'm just not doing what I'm supposed to do. If I just get that one command and I get better at it, then I'll be fine and my blessings will come back. And this is a lesson of, in reality, that's not true. That's not true. You can be doing everything that you need to be doing, and some tragic things can come to you and can happen to you. Some tragic stuff can still come your way, even if you are doing everything just so perfectly, so right, and so on it, and doing the best of the best that you can. That's not the lesson of this life that in reality we should be focusing the majority of our time on. That you're the one that's got all the rules and all of this and all the rights so perfect, and nothing's going to happen to me if I stick so perfect with all of that. That's not true. The stuff is still going to come to you. Stuff is still going to happen to you. Stuff is still going to challenge you. Stuff is still going to defeat you. Stuff is still going to completely just utterly fail right in your face. That you are going and you're like, this is awesome, and it's just going to fail instantly. And it's just, what's going on here? What's happening? And it's not for us to say, oh, it failed. Oh, God, cursed you. I don't want you. I don't believe in you. I don't trust in you. It's not what you do. You allow God to be able to help you through that time, to be able to push you through that time. Because there's one thing that I do know. Because when it really comes down to the end of this book, he gets it all back again. But that's one thing that I do know. When you're working towards something, when you're staying at it and you're staying focused, and you're just digging deep with doing what you need to do, and if you lose it all, it's not so hard to get it all back again and do it all over again. It's really hard to do that when you just quit, when you just give up. You're just like, I'm nevers and nevers and don'ts and won'ts. But if you've already got it once, it's going to be so much easier for you to get it again, times 2 or 3, times 10, than someone who's never even had it, never even done it, never even been a part of it. So it's something that is a very interesting lesson for us to really pay close attention to, because we're out here thinking that we got to be so perfect to be able to get in the good graces of God that you're never going to run in that situation that you're just doing everything perfect and everything just so right. But you do have to realize that there's things that are teaching and helping and guiding us, that if you lose it or don't get, or things don't happen the way that you want it to happen, don't think that it's something bad or something wrong that you're doing. Just know that it's just the way that this world works, just the way it is. It's the unfortunate circumstances of us being here today, that if you were the one that started it, created it, made it, if you were Adam, first guy off, and you seen Eve take that fruit, and she said, hey, try this, and you said, get out of here, woman. I don't want nothing to do with you. I'm going to obey my God. And you made that decision to make that choice. Then maybe we would have a different life today. Maybe things would be much, much different today. But it didn't happen that way. And we're here based on what other people have done. Everything around us, we're here because of what other people have done. And we just have to deal with that. That it just is what it is. As much as we all want it to change and be something different, that I shouldn't have to deal with a problem that someone else did, that I should just be able to go off and do and be my own and create and start my own new fresh. And it's just not the way that this is. That's not how it is. And as soon as you start to really get that in your brain and understand that you're really going to just relax and calm down on this planet, because you're no longer going to start fighting against it. You're fighting against it if you think that things should be different for me because I'm special and I'm unique and I'm the one of one. That there's not a single prophet, not a single nobody in this Bible, again I'll state, that just had a great, awesome, perfect, amazing life. They may have had times that things were really awesome, and then they had times where they went straight to destruction. They may have times that God was promising them and guaranteeing them some things, and then there was times later on that God was cursing and telling them that, not you, that's what he did to Solomon. I'm not going to enslave you, but I'm telling you, as soon as you pass away and you're next, they're all going downhill because of what you're doing. The same stuff that everyone else before was doing. And it's a very unfortunate thing, but it just really lets us know who we are and what to expect out here in reality. That nothing is just going to be just smooth sailing and perfect and good to go all the time. That there's going to be some things that just happen. Things that happen that are completely out of control. And it's a matter of us staying firm and staying strong and staying consistent with knowing that God is here in the good and also in the bad. And not only just praying, because sometimes, a lot of times, and most times, even in this Bible, how these people are, we only start praying when things are hard, when things are challenging, when I lost a job, when I lost a dog, when I lost a spouse, when I lost my child. And then we start praying to God. And I lost all my money, I lost my house, I lost my car, I lost my job, I lost everything. I'm on the streets, and I have a half a shoe on. I don't know how you'd have half a shoe on. I'm almost at that point with these things. They be screaming. But you got half a shoe on, that's all you got. And you run into that situation, and that's the time when you really start to just pray. You say, God, I need some help. As opposed to when you are in the goods, when you're good to go, when things are awesome, when things are looking really, really right for you. And I think that's a good lesson that happens with what Job was doing. He was in the beginning praying and praising, and always on top of that. When things were good, he was, praise God, thank you. He was doing his sacrifices and saying, I'm sorry for things I didn't mean to do, and please forgive me, and moving forward. And then when things got bad, he still stuck to that same exact thing. He still stuck with, thank you, God, and praise God. You know, he had times that he was sitting there saying to his own self, like, damned be the day that I was born. Just take that day away. That was a dark day. You know, he got a little in his feelings because it gets deep with having a good understanding of when things aren't going so great. You're not just going to be sitting in your thoughts all the time of like, woohoo, life is awesome. No, you're gonna have some thoughts that are very, very, very damaging, very destructive, in ways that are gonna really not be to the likings of what God would like. But the main thing that God wouldn't like is if we're disrespecting and cursing him, saying it's your fault, God, why I'm here. And or even at the same time of thinking that it's your own fault. That's something that we should try and be our best about having a good understanding of realizing that when this stuff happens, don't run away and say that you're wrong or even God is wrong. Just realize that that's just what happens on this planet. That sometimes you wake up, when you just look at animals, you look at the way that everything is out here. There's an animal that's eating another animal. I got owls. I got a chicken missing. One of my favorite little boys. I don't know what happened. He gone. More than likely, an owl took it. And that's just what goes on. That you're just sleeping, hanging out. You're having a good life. He would always come up to me. I'd give him extra food. He was one that I was able to touch. I could pet him and stuff. And he was a pretty cool dude. Just having a real nice life. And then one day, gone. Just completely disappeared. That's what happens. Stuff like that just happens. It's a natural thing on this planet where that's the way it works. That one day everything is just going good and going smooth, and then one day it's gone. It's not there anymore. And when you catch yourself in a position where you're not even prepared for it, such as when these downfalls happen and you weren't even praying and asking for God's forgiveness before that even happened, it's going to be so much harder for you to dig yourself out of when you do get into that failure. That you should already have been praying and saying, hey, thank you for that blessing. Thank you for this. Thank you for the day. Thank you for this beautiful weather. Thank you for these things that show up. Thank you for these animals. Thank you for my food. Thank you for my water. Thank you for the shower I could take. Something that a lot of things that we take advantage of, like especially living in here in the United States of America. You can go and like turn some knobs and some water comes out. Like that's a blessing. You've got a toilet looking thing that puts water in it that we're just throwing gallons of water a day each day that we could just go potty and it just disappears and it's gone. We don't see it anymore. Like we have so many things around here that are just an absolute blessing that majority of people on this planet don't have. And we should be thanking God for all these little things that we have around us. That you just go in your house and you flip a switch and some lights come on for you to be able to see. Lights come on for you. How amazing is that? How amazing is it that if you're hungry right now, that you can go find a food bank local to you and go get some food right now? That's just like a right to be in America. It's crazy. That's just absolutely wild. A lot of things that we just don't really look at as being awesome and as amazing. We just take for granted. And we need to always, when we know we have all this stuff, to be appreciative of it and be blessed about it. Because there's others that don't have. And it may be a situation that you don't have. And then when you do run into that situation that you don't have, when you do have, it's really hard to run into that. Because you especially if you've never been in a situation where you've just been broke, nothing. You've always been blessed. Everything's always been good. And then you run into that situation that now you have nothing. That's the time that you're really going to need to pray upon God even more than you've ever had in your life before when you had it all. Because He's not here to give up on us. He's not here to in reality even punish us. Because a lot of times when I read that book, it just kind of seems like God's punishing Job. Like He literally is. He's punishing him. But how and why would He be punishing him if he wasn't doing anything wrong? He was doing everything that he should have been doing. It wasn't a punish. It's more of a test, but not even of a test. It was more of a test to Satan in reality. A test for us to be able to read this, to be able to know the power of what Satan actually is capable of and what it is that God is capable of being able to realize that Satan's pretty powerful. He can do some crazy stuff. He can literally take life on this planet. And he can take all life on this planet. He's got the power to be able to do such a thing. But the big thing is, he doesn't have the power to convince you that God isn't real, to convince you to get away from God, to convince you to just bail on Him. That's our own inside of what we can do and what we're all about. He can't do that. He can't force you to say, I curse God, I don't believe in you, I don't want you, I don't want nothing with you. He can't do that. And that's the amazing power that we have as humans. Because it's more of a thing for us to be able to read that Satan tried his best. He did it all. And that guy, Job, still stood firm. He still stood there and said, God, you are magnificent. You are amazing. You are wonderful. You are awesome. You are the best. Thank you for everything that I've had, and thank you for what I'm even going through right now. And that when he stuck in that, with no matter what Satan did to him, he ended up getting out of that and getting to a situation that he had way more than what he had when he started. And it's an interesting thing, because most of us, when we run into that situation, it's just interesting because, I hear and I read comments all the time about, I was in that before, I believed it, but then now I'm not. and that stuff is not real. And it's interesting because Satan can really make you think that it's not real. He can really get you to get off course. He can really just dial it in and make sure that everything doesn't seem right. And it's not, I don't want to say test. It's not a test. It's just a God showing how powerful he is. To be able to say, hey, you just continue to keep praying to me. I don't care what that fool does to you. Whatever happens in your life, I don't care. Whatever happens. You keep praying to me and I will still I will bless you. But when you're in that trial of struggling, when everything is gone from you, when you lost your child, when you lost your spouse, when you lost your mother and father, when you lost everything around you, and then you decide that I lost that, so I'm going to lose God, and I'm going to go off and go this way. Now you're in a sticky situation, very sticky situation, a situation where you're going to stumble upon people that are still in it, and you're going to kind of hate them because you're like, it didn't work for me, so it's not going to work for you. It's like, don't put that out there on people. Don't do that to your own self because you're hurting. You quit and you gave up. You quit and you gave up to the point that you allowed the enemy, the Satan, the devil, to be able to take over and consume you. And when he takes over and consumes you, that's going to be all of your life at that moment. You're going to completely reject and get away from knowing and being able to represent who God truly is. And that's just a horrible thing to do. Because the main thing is we have to stay firm, we have to stay strong, we have to stay steady, we have to stay at it with praying to God of saying, hey, I know things don't look that great right now. And it's not even because of anything that I was doing wrong. I was doing everything right. I was on board with everything right. Everything was good to go and just bad stuff happened. Don't think that it was you that's not doing right. It's you that's bad. It's you that's no good. I mean, we mess up. We're always going to mess up. It is just what it is with who we are, what we're all about. But don't think that when a bad thing happens to you, it's because you did a bad thing. Just stuff happens. Things happen out here that are very, very devastating to the point that it can really make you think that God hates you. He doesn't like you. He wants to get rid of you. He's trying to destroy you. But in reality, what he's trying to do is build you up and make you better and give you more. And then at the same time, being able to let you know who the real people are around you. Because when you lose it all, you're going to see the ones that run away from you really fast. And the ones that stay are the ones that you know. Those are the real ones now. And then when you get it all again, now you can know to let those people that went away, to let them go. Get them out of there. Get them out of your life. Sometimes that these like I said, there's like an unlimited things to talk about with this book. And I can go into detail about each one, but I'm just doing a snippet of each little thing that I see here. But sometimes some things are going to have to happen to you so that God can get some people out of your life and to let you like see who somebody is and what somebody's all about. To realize who your true friends and who your enemies. You know, who's just the freeloaders that are around you. Who are the ones that are trying to help you and who are the ones that are just absolutely out to destroy you and watch you hurt and laugh at you hurt. And then keep on doing things to you to just kind of kick you and keep you down. That's what happened to his friends. They were just kicking him and keeping him down. And Job in the end was just like, you know, I forgive you. And you know not what you're saying basically. Just you guys are foolish. You don't understand who God is. He says, I understand who God is. And he has to just get those people to get out of his life because they're not helping him. They're just there to watch him in his misery and just to continue to keep on getting worse. And it's something that I would know that God would do to be able to help us excel on this planet. And not everything is to try and destroy you and hurt you and bring you down. Sometimes it's to allow you to see who's real and what's real around you so that when you do start growing, when things do start going good, that you actually are going to be able to have those blessings and be able to discern between the ones that are trying to hurt you and the ones that are trying to help you. So that you don't end up getting a situation where you are going and going and going. You got blessings, you're growing and you're doing whatever you're doing. You start something up, you start up some music career and all of a sudden you got these other people around that just take it off from you. Because that could happen. That's not anything under God's control. That's just another human being being another human being that could take from you what it is that you're doing. And that could happen. That can easily happen. That can so easily happen. You could do one little thing and get real popular over it, and someone could just come in and just take it off from you, to instantly take it. So God can do some things to reveal to you who it is that is like that in your life. That's just there to take when it is that you get, as opposed to those that are there to help, no matter what. And it's such an interesting thing to be able to really think a lot about, because this book goes all kinds of directions, all kinds of places. It's just, it's all over the place with what a message that you can speak about with it. Because it's not just a simple, this is it and aha, there it goes. No, it's a message of knowing that doing something wrong doesn't mean that wrong is going to come to you. Doesn't mean that when wrong comes to you and bad comes to you that you're a bad person or wrong person. Doesn't mean that at all. When someone is in your life that seems like they're trying to help you, they may not be trying to help you. They may be trying to destroy you. So maybe some tragedy happens to you so that just can be exposed so that you can move on with your life. Very interesting thing that, a lot of people when they get married, they say like, it's the first year, first 2 years, first 3 years, it's challenging. But before that, it wasn't. When you're dating, it was like super fun. That's why you consider marrying the person. Because when you're dating, you're like, man, this is an amazing person. And then you get married, and then it gets challenging. It's like instant. It's like crazy. I hear this from so many people. It's just, your dating was so exciting. That's why you got married, because it was so fun and things were good for most people. I can't say that for my life personally. But you're dating and like, I really get along with this person. And then you get married and now things just start to change. And I see that as a way of putting those tests and challenges out there for you without you even wanting to do it. But just it happens you lose your job 2 weeks after getting married. Is your wife going to stay with you? Or is she only there because of the income that you made? And then when you didn't have it, is she going to leave you? And things like that just happen. They just happen. It just gets challenging. It gets really hard to see. Are you going to stick through this? Or are you here only for this or only for that? Or are you here? And that's why most, in reality today, don't make it past that 2 years, 3 years. Because something happens and they just bail. Oh, no, I'm not going to deal with it. I can't do that. Because you weren't actually there for that person. You were just there for when it was good. And when things weren't going the way that you thought that you wanted it to be, you're like, I'm going to go find someone else to be able to get that from. And you're never going to find that because you're not actually there for that person. Once you are there for that person, then you're going to be able to have what it is that you're looking for. There's so many lessons in this book that it's so interesting that it really just, it makes me just think a lot over and over of different stuff and different scenarios and different things that are going on in my day-to-day of what it is that's happening and what's going on. Just want people to think a little bit more. And I think that's something that is fascinating about the Bible. It makes you think a little bit more. It makes you have to really just dig deep and just not just sit in this basic way of thinking and living and being of just, this is just what it is and that's the way it is. Because that's not how life is. There's like more meanings behind everything that's out here. There's more meaning behind all these trees behind me than they're just trees. No, there's so much with it. There's so much that goes with why they're here and everything that's with them. That it's not just a simple story, it's a tree. No, it's not just that. It's the same with us as humans. We're not just a human. We're something way more than that. And this Bible just starts to really upgrade and just put more questions in there, more questions to you, more things to just start to pay closer and closer attention to, and what to not pay attention to anymore. It's super interesting to the point that it's a nice puzzle, as someone said. It's a nice puzzle with a nice lot of riddles in it that just really gets you to have to constantly keep asking something new and figuring out something new and learning something new over and over. It's a never ending. Because once you read it and you're like, oh, I read that book. No, you didn't. Because when you read it again, you're going to find something different every single time, 100% of the time, every time. You're always in a different season, a different time, and a different mindset and a different way of being every single time that you read everything. So when you read something, you're gonna get something different from it depending on where you are. If you're just good to go, all lucky, all happy, all excited, everything's just great, you're going to read it in one way, one lens of seeing it. But if you're at the point where it's like, man, I just want to end myself, I don't want to be here, everything sucks, everything's no good, you're going to read it completely differently. And that's something that is super fascinating about this book, because it's going to always constantly keep putting new questions for you to keep on thinking about and to keep on wondering and keep on asking and keep on praying. And that's the thing that it just kind of forces you to just keep on wanting to pray, keep asking God, like, what's going on here? And then God is really like, thank you. And it's no, get down. God is really just like, that's what he's looking for, us to want to keep getting closer to him, to learn more about him, to learn more of how he is and what he's all about. The good and the bad. Not just looking at the good stuff, but realizing that there's some bad stuff out there and bad stuff just happens. And with that, I just want to say thank you for a very interesting week. Again, a week that I guess I've been stressing about some stuff that I need not to be stressing about. Because reading this book of Job again today just let me realize that not everything is because I'm wrong or I'm bad or I'm no good or I'm unworthy, I'm incapable. It's not always that way. There's stuff that just happens. There's stuff that happens when other people want to put it on you, yeah, for sure. And I understand, and I got a good understanding of that today when that happens, as opposed to it's just being the world. I know when it's someone else trying to attack. I know it's weird. It's like something is different about it. But it's something out here that I've come to realize that a lot of times I greatly appreciate when things get hard for me, because it really just lets me know who's there for me, who's truly there for me. When I call you and I say, hey, I got an issue here, and you're just like, let me help you through that. I'm like, all right, I know that you're there for me, and you're continuing to keep being there for me, and I'm greatly appreciated about that. And then realizing that the other people that you call and you say the same stuff to, and they just don't ever call you back. They never even try to come around anymore. They just disappear. It's fascinating that I love being able to experience that today. Where I used to get frustrated about it. But it's lessons that we need to be able to get through, to understand, so that we can figure out how to be able to keep the people around us that are going to help us, so that we actually can grow into being more and more and more, as opposed to being around the people that are just trying to take and trying to hurt and trying to destroy, because they're just going to take everything from you, and that can put you in a very downward spiral, because you're like, everything is good, I'm doing good, and this person just took it all. It's because you weren't able to see those people. You weren't in that situation for those people to show you who they truly are, with just wanting to take and just wanting to have what's yours without doing anything. So it's something interesting about this life that I hope more people would just start reading more in this Bible, to try to ask some new questions for your own self, so that you can get a better understanding of where you are right now and what it is that you're doing, so that you can start to grow more with where it is God is looking for us to go, as opposed to just quitting and giving up on it and then going towards what it is that you think is best, that you think you know more. It's always interesting to me when I hear someone say that they know more than what the Bible is. And it's like, I don't know what sort of intelligence that you have, that you're a part of, but if you did know more, then you would be able to help people out on this planet just in an unbelievable way, a miracle type way, if you knew more. If you knew more than this Bible, and this Bible was meaningless and worthless to you, you would be able to say 5 words to somebody to get them over an addiction. You would be able to just put hands on somebody and they would just give up on grieving over somebody that they've been grieving for the past 30 years of their life. You would be able to help people get through situations that are just so challenging to them that they just have never been able, they just are hooked on drugs to the point that they're not functioning anymore. You would be able to say 5 words to them and they would be able to just get out of that. If you knew more and you were better and the Bible is meaningless to you in your life, you should be able to do that if the Bible is meaningless to you. And if you can't do that, then maybe you need to re-pick that book up again and start reading a little bit more yourself again. Start understanding some more. And even with your own self. If your own self is still struggling with things, that if you say to you, I want to stop this, and you just can't stop it, and you're saying to yourself that the Bible is stupid and it's not real and it can't do nothing for you, you're struggling. That the Bible is way more, and you need it way more than ever when you're in a situation like that. You need it way more, because that's the time that the Bible really is going to be able to shine for you. That's when the God is really going to shine for you. When you're at your, I don't know where to go and I don't know what to do. Everything I'm trying just isn't working. That's when God's like, hey, everything you've been trying isn't working, huh? All those people weren't able to help you, huh? Let me show you how real I am, and let me get you out of that without you having to do anything. That's what he consistently keeps doing. But you got to pray to him. You got to ask him. You got to say, God, I need some assistance, man. I need some help. I need to be able to get through this. I can't. I've been failing with everything, everywhere. Every single time. I stop for a minute. 5 minutes later, I'm back in it again. And I don't know how to get away from it. And everyone hasn't been able to help me, and everyone has just disowned me at the same time. And God's like, I'm here to help you. And let me show you how powerful I am. And he's going to continue to keep doing that over and over for anybody who prays upon and asks upon him to be able to work for him and do something for him. Thank you.